Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm just going to wait a few minutes and wait for a few of you to hop in on the stream. Just going to wait a few minutes for a few people to hop in on the stream. When you get here, let me know where you're watching from and say hello. And let me know where you're watching from. Just waiting for a few people to hop in. That's the way you're watching from. Are you watching from my Facebook, any of the Thrivers group? Where else? YouTube. Let's know where you're watching from. Tonight we're going to be looking at the power principle number 5. We're looking at focus. Power principle number 5. We're looking at focus today. Hey, Facebook, how you doing? Thanks for always showing up every Thursday. Good to have you here. You're one of our dedicated viewers. Right, who else? Let's know where you're watching from. Let's know where you're watching from. Who else? Anyone else? Anyone else joining us today? This is our every Thursday tonic for 10 weeks, and we're here for this is our 5th week. We've got another 5 weeks to go on this lesson, and after this lesson, I'll be bringing in another theme. Not sure what I'll be teaching you. Hey, sorry I can't see the names, but hi. Just let me know your names, then maybe I'll know who it is. I can't see the names on StreamYard, but I know that some of you are watching. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Where are you watching from? Are you watching from the Money Mindset group? Are you watching from the Thrivers group? Are you watching from YouTube? Or are you watching from my Facebook group itself? Wherever you're watching from, you are welcome. I just need to share this onto my other group. Right, who else? Who else is joining us this evening? Today we're looking at focus. Last week we looked at persistence, and today we're looking at focus. Right. I'm just trying to share something. Okay. Right here. Share. Yes, I got it. All right. Let's get going. So once again, I want to say, hey, Fulake, that's another faithful. Hi, Fulake, how you doing? One of my regulars. Right, good evening, everybody, for everyone who's watching and for everyone who's going to watch a replay. And because I'm aware a few people are catching on the replay, but my commitment is to show up here every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Whether if there's anyone here or not, I'm just going to come here and teach something that I think would be beneficial to everyone who listens or who's following. And we're looking at these 10 power principles. I call them 10 power principles. Hey, sis, my sister of life, how you doing? Obiageli, all the way from Canada. And we're looking at this 10 power principles. Principle number 1 was understanding. Principle number 2 is honesty. Principle number 3, which we've looked at, is vision. Principle number 4, which we did last week, is persistence. And today we're looking at the power principle of focus. So once again, my name is Aaron Tieran, and in this lesson, I want to talk about power principle number 5. Power principle number 5, the role of focus in living a successful and rewarding life. Power principle number 5, the role of focus in living successful and rewarding life. You know, the thing is this, you and I, we live in a wondrous world full of sights, sounds, motions. But amidst of all these stimuli, it is really easy for us to be distracted from what is really important to us. You know, there are several definitions of focus that could be helpful as we start to engage in this power principle of focus. One of the definitions is, or definition of focus is an active, concentrated. I want you to look at that. Focus is an active concentrated of our interest, of our energy, and our attention or activity. An active concentrated of our interest, our energy, our attention, or activity. It means to converge on or towards a central point, to bring ideas or emotions into alignment. It can also convey maximum clarity of distinctness of image. So we looked at vision a while 2 weeks ago, and just as vision helps define our life's purpose and identify objectives to help us reach it, focus gives us clarity and concentrates our energy, and it gives us clarity. It helps us concentrate our energy and activity to help us reach and grab our goals in order to carry out that life's purpose. But in truth, in reality, in today's fast-paced society, focus is becoming scarcer in our lives. Focus is becoming a scarce commodity in our lives than ever before. Part of our distraction lies in this overwhelming number of choices that you and I are faced with. An overwhelming number of choices that we are asked to make each day. I hope you're following me and I hope you understand. For instance, even the simple task of buying toothpaste. The simple task of buying toothpaste or cereal if you're in America. Every time I go to America, this is amazing. I can get a plethora of various types of cereal. So even that simple task of buying toothpaste can become a far more complex than it was just only decades ago. Do you know that currently there are over 40 different kinds of Colgate toothpaste? Just one brand. 40 different kinds, let alone all the other toothpaste. 40 different kinds of Colgate toothpaste. Over 100 types of cereal. And these are a couple of the overwhelming number of consumer choices with our never-ending addiction to technology and information, access through laptops, iPads, smartphones, computers, even our TVs, cable channels, and the complexity of just modern day living multiplies manifold. We and our kids rush from meetings to activities. I just came back from tennis with my daughter. And from tennis with my daughter and got onto Zoom to do a teacher consultation for her school. And here I am again on Facebook to do this Facebook Live. We just keep going. We and our kids, we're living in this world where we're fitting in quick meals and even quicker actual conversations with one another, while constantly surrounding ourselves with sights, with sounds, and stimuli of all kinds. Although silence may be golden, today it is rarely heard. In 1960, Americans apparently averaged less than one television per home. Today, if you will be honest with me, we average at least 3 televisions per home. I used to have 3, but I still have 3 actually. I used to have 4. But now I have 3 in my home. Today we average 3 televisions per home with only 2.5 people per home. Think about it. How many televisions are in your house? What about phones? What about computers? Or just gadgets that you take around with you on a regular basis? Some of us are carrying 3, some of us are carrying 4, some of us are carrying phones, and we're still carrying iPads and things like that. Both teenagers and adults, adults are now screenages. I call teenagers screenages, and we adults are screen dogs. And I call them screenages because you will see them often with 3 screens in front of them, even kids. At one time, a television, a computer, a cell phone that they are texting on. I hope you're following. I'm getting somewhere. They appear to be masters of multitasking. And our society now has come to expect it from us. Even then, we still purchase more and more gadgets. Apple has just released a new phone, right? Many of us are going to go and get it, even though nothing is wrong with our old phones. We purchase more and more gadgets so we can be connected to information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with no downtime. So don't get me wrong, I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone. Don't get me wrong. I have an iPhone. And those of you who know me, I do a lot of work with my WhatsApp messages, I'm using email messages like WhatsApp and the telephone and text messages and emails a lot. And I love it because it allows me to connect with and help people all over the world. My sister is watching all the way from Canada, and I'm able to do that through technology. So I'm not trying to rule out all these things. It helps me connect with people all over the world. But I need to, now I'm talking about myself, I need to stop multitasking when I do these things and make sure that my full attention is focused on the person I'm working with or talking to. Even in my coaching calls, I struggle sometimes because there's a plethora of messages I'm receiving on my phones and things like that. And more importantly, the person who struggles the most is my family or my wife, especially because I'm constantly going. Guys, we're getting somewhere. And I'm sure I'm reading your email, but I'm talking about myself. And what we're talking about is focus. Because the reality is that my full attention is not focused on the person I'm working with or talking to. And this is something my wife complains a lot about. And I know you have the same situations in your home. I know that many people do operate this way, and it is easy and seductive to do it. You may be one of them. In our efforts to be more productive, we try to do more things in less time, right? But in reality, I believe it is to our own detriment. We only need to look at the airline incidents where distracted pilots overshot their city by 100 miles just because they were distracted for a minute or so before they realized they even missed it, or the tragic consequences that we see in our world as a result of texting while driving or being on the phone while driving. In fact, a while ago, Oprah devoted an entire show once on the growing number of deaths in auto accidents that's been attributed to cell phone usage. One of her guests, the University of Utah professor who studied distracted drivers for 10 years, talked about the research that showed that our brains literally cannot process peripheral visual cues when we drive and talk on the phone. His study showed that when our brains are focusing to process a phone conversation while our bodies are physically engaged to drive the car, that our mind sees only what is directly ahead of us. It cannot process the peripheral cues of the elderly person on the sidewalk about to step into the street, or the kid on the bike to the left just barely out of our vision. That is why we now have laws against using cell phones while driving. And maybe soon we're going to begin to see laws against texting and emails or instant messaging, even while we're walking on the streets. While practicing focus can help keep us safe. If you and I can make up our minds to actually give it a go, to practice focus, it can help keep us safe. We are also learning that focus can make us more efficient. A recent study at Stanford University found that college students who multitasked regularly were actually less able to switch between tasks than those who don't. They were more easily distracted when they were engaged in the task. Les Brown said something, and everyone knows Les Brown. Les Brown pointed out that while focus is proven mandatory, it is one of the most difficult things we can do today. This is critical for us to realize, for much of goal achievement lies in the realm of creativity, and creating is a completely separate process from consuming and communicating information. Therefore, for everyone who's listening and for everybody who's going to listen to the replay, it is especially difficult to create when our energy is diffused in multiple directions at once. Under these conditions, if you can access your creative process at all, it is considerably slowed. It is safe to say that multitasking diminishes our creative effectiveness. So to better understand the significance seemingly small distractions can make, think about the distraction of a small canopy of shade. This interruption of the sun's ray can deflect our world's most powerful energy source to create cool air, cold space, amidst a hot surrounding, right? In contrast, a typical laser is a very low energy source of light, but because of its pinpoint focus, laser focus, it can be harnessed to penetrate almost any material, right? So I want to submit that focus is precision energy. Most of us think that focus is about tuning out the distractions. It's precision energy, is laser, is pinpointing. After all, we know that distractions are a part of life. We do not have perfect control of our environment, but there's another proactive way to think about how we accept our reality. How we accept our reality. I invite you to consider what I teach to my coaching students, that focus is also tuning into the right positive influences, a thoughtful control of what we let into our minds. On what specifically should you begin to focus to increase the power in your life? When I'm working with someone in a coaching situation, I like to ask my clients these questions, these four similarly simple questions. I like to ask my clients this question. Number one, what are you so absolutely great at? And if you're listening, and you can make notes and you can just put it in the comment section. What are you so absolutely great at? Number two, what skills do you possess that others admire in you? Number one, what are you absolutely so great at? Number two, what skills do you possess that others admire in you? Number three, are these things that you love to do? Are these things that you love to do? And number four, can you have a meaningful income from them? I'll take it again. Number one, what are you absolutely so great at? Number two, what skills do you possess that others admire in you? Number three, are these things that you love to do? And number four, can you have a meaningful income from them? Four simple questions I want to ask today. Four simple questions with perhaps just one or two ready answers right now. But soon, when you stay in these questions, they would help you identify the activities that you should value more, or the activities that you value more, the activities that is worthy of your focus, activities that is worthy of your time, activities that is worthy of your energy, activities that is worthy of your focus, your time, your energy, and your activity. So what are those activities that only increase your power? That's what I'm asking. What are those, if you can identify the activities that only increase your power? There is a saying that a focused mind is more powerful than 1,000 elephants. A focused mind is more. Well, someone says the sound is not clear. Can you all hear me very well? A focused mind is more powerful than 1,000 elephants. And I think 1,000 may be too few for this adage. I think 1,000 may be too few for this adage. For really, there's no limit to what we can produce with our minds. So if you and I, by mastering the art of focus, you would learn to harness that power, concentrating your body's activity and your spirit's vision into a singular intention with specific results. So you and I can learn to tap the full force of our being and guide it to carry out and fulfill your life's purpose. Thank you. Your life's purpose. It's so easy. It's so easy to underestimate the difficulty of being focused. So easy to underestimate the difficulty of being focused. In concept, it is quite simple, but it's actually a lot more difficult than it sounds. Many well-intended people set out to be focused, fully aware of its importance, but find themselves in frustration when they fall into one of these distractions of life. And let's face it. And let's face it. There's many of those distraction traps. You see, our goals consist of both glamorous and mundane elements. It is easy to get caught up in the excitement of all the opportunities and possibilities that is associated with a project or a goal, only to let some of the routine but critical obligations fall into neglect. So, what would any ideal day of focus on each separate activity look like for you? What would any ideal day of focus on each separate activity look like for you? It will be a day in which every moment has a perfect intention that you've determined with foresight. When you are focused, each moment you spend moves you closer to your desired outcome. I'm going to say that again. When you are focused, each moment you spend moves you closer to your desired outcomes. When you are focused, each moment you spend moves you closer to your desired outcome. I say spend and not invest. Two different things. Spend and not invest, because time is precious. Time is precious, but perishable. Time is precious, but perishable. Time does not give dividends or refunds. When it's gone, it's gone. When it's gone, it's gone. What survives? What survives is the results you've achieved and the consequences of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. That's it. What survives is the results you've achieved and the consequences of your thoughts, the consequences of your words, and the consequences of your actions. So every moment that goes by is a point in the continuum of life. The quality of your life would be in direct proportion to your ability to focus. The quality of your life will be in direct proportion of your ability to focus. And people can execute routine obligations in a low state of focus, almost on autopilot. Many people go about their days these days without full awareness of what the moment brings and takes away. Few understand the many ways they can respond to any one moment and how their response makes an impact to the next moment and the next and the next. And we've been going through this last 5 weeks. And last week we looked on persistence, and the week before we looked at vision, and today we're looking at focus. This, and with each power principle we're looking at over this next 10 weeks, focus has two main components that, if you're able to master them, will change your life forever. Focus has two main, if you don't hear anything I've said this evening, focus has two main components that, if you are able to master them, will change your life forever. The first focus component is your ability to deliberately concentrate on a specific subject. In fact, the word concentrate denotes power, right? It denotes power. So if we think of concentrated detergent or concentrated juice, right? It's extremely potent. You have to be disciplined enough and committed enough that you are not going to allow anything to intervene or interfere with whatever it is you're trying to do. Right? The strength of your commitment allows you to maximize potentials and be able to extract out of that which you want from life to achieve while you focus on your goals. That level of concentration or focus takes you into a zone of achievement, takes you into a zone of performance, takes you into a zone of mastery that most people never achieve, because most people focus on the distractions rather than their destiny. A lot of us are focused on our distractions and all the things that are being thrown at us by social media, on the TV, and life. So most people focus on the distractions rather than their destiny. That's the first component of focus. The second focus component concerns your ability to be discerning about what you have focused on. Almost anything has value. Listen, almost anything has value if we make the effort to contrite on it and look beneath the surface to explore its depths below. For those of you who viewed the ocean when I was on holiday, well, I wouldn't go snorkeling, but I went into a submarine to look at the undersea life. For those of you who view the ocean from any distance, the ocean looks much the same to many people looking at it from a long view or an overview. It looks much the same. We see the surface and maybe we catch some glimpses of what is beneath. But if you put on a snorkel and mask and then go into the ocean and then you open your eyes and your view and your focus becomes a whole new world, something you never knew was living under the sea. Your view and your focus brings you to a whole new world. If you then study it and look beneath, a diverse and vibrant new world exists. There is this whole world of undersea marine life going on. Each movement, each creature, each plant or nuance of the water's movement is doing something. And the only reason why you're now able to see it is because you've applied focus. And what I want to say this evening, and as I show up every Thursday and focusing on teaching a principle every week, life is too short on everything for life is too short to focus on everything. Life is too short to focus on everything. For to do so, you will be focusing really on nothing. You cannot focus on everything. Life is absolutely too short to focus on everything. To do so would be focusing really on nothing. So, therefore, your focus must be aligned with your vision. And your vision comes from purpose. And your life revolves around your purpose. So, your focus must be aligned with your vision. The things you do daily that you focus on must be congruent with your vision. And your vision and your life's purpose. So your focus must be aligned with your vision and your life's purpose. So think of it this way. If you believe that at this very moment, as you're hearing my voice, that you are going to discover a way to give special value to every moment that follows, that what I was going to say was going to change your life forever, then I'm sure that you will pay your closest possible attention. That is purposeful focus. A literal visual representation or manifestation of where you are and where you are going. It is your ability to be fully present, with the added bonus that you have a clear purpose for the outcome of this moment, to be fully present. Guys, I put my hands up. I struggle in this also. And that's why I'm teaching these lessons, so that we all can learn together. To be fully present, with the added bonus that you have a clear purpose for the outcome of this moment. A mind that is brought to a single pointed awareness is far more powerful at accomplishing anything that it is set upon. If you are hearing this with perfect focus, you would have a predetermined intention for what you're going to get out of this moment. One of my mentors and teachers, one of my mentors teacher, so I listen to him from time to time, but I follow my mentor strictly. One of my mentors teacher is a guy called Paul Sheely. Paul Sheely teaches a program, and I've been in the course where he's taught this. I just haven't got it yet. Paul Sheely teaches a program on photo reading that teaches this exact principle. In his course, you can learn how to read 25,000 words in a minute. 25,000 words a minute. Some people don't believe it's possible and they never do it. I've been in an introduction course where he's teaching it, but I haven't been able to attend the course in Atlanta yet. Is it Atlanta? Minnesota yet? I know people who have said they've done it and it works. It's very possible when we allow purpose and focus to be blended with a predetermined intention. It is this simple, almost insignificant distinction which brings about a powerful transformation into our lives. I have found out that one of the distinctions between ordinary results and extraordinary results is simply this. And I hope you're taking notes. One of the distinctions between having an ordinary result and having an extraordinary result is simply this. The focused person has a predetermined inner agreement that he or she will get something valuable out of every moment. And whatever he or she learns will be put into practice. The focused person has a predetermined inner agreement that I will get something valuable out of every moment. I'm a coach, and I know clients that come to my session focused, because most times they are able to change my plan because I can tell that they want to go in a direction and I help them get there. The focused person has a predetermined inner agreement that he or she would get something valuable out of every moment. And when I hang around my mentors, that's that mindset I go in with. And whatever he or she learns will put into practice. It's not when I run these masterminds weekly, and I tell my clients all the time, don't come tell me what you're going to do. Tell me what you have applied. Your take action has to be something you have gone to do. By contrast, a person, so this person has to put it into practice. By contrast, the person who is out of focus, his result engages in short bursts of mental entertainment and then gets distracted by whatever impulse catches their attention, whether it is email, a coffee break, a message on Facebook, or whatever it is, or a text message from a friend. But listen, focus would allow you to conserve energy. Focus would allow you to save time. Focus would allow you to conserve energy, time, and resources by harnessing your power to follow the critical path to success. One of the great quotes I love by a man called Emerson says, "Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your focus goes, your energy flows." Where is your focus? If your focus is in 1,000 different directions, then your energy is scattered. Your energy is weakened. Your energy is diffused. Your focus on these power principles that I'm sharing I've shared in the last 5 weeks, and we've got 5 weeks to go. Your focus on these power principles is a positive step towards directing your energy and concentrating its power on what really matters to you. Your focus on these power principles is a positive step towards directing your energy and concentrating its power on what really matters to you, living your purpose. So I want to say thanks for listening, everybody. This has been Aaron T. Aaron on Power Principle 5. And next week, I'll be back here. I'm committed to showing up for the next 10 weeks, for 10 weeks. On week 1, we looked at Power Principle Understanding. Week 2, we looked at the Power Principle of Honesty. And week 3, we looked at the Power Principle of Vision. And week 4, we looked at Persistence, which was last week. And today we're looking at Focus. So guys, go to my YouTube page. If you're not following me on YouTube, I want you to type in Aaron T. Aaron TV and follow me on YouTube, where you can see all this past 5 principles we've shared now. If you're not following me on YouTube, go to my YouTube page and follow me on Aaron T. Aaron TV, where I'm going to be releasing content regularly, especially in the new year. So get your friends to follow. I'm going to be releasing content regularly that I think would help us, that I believe would help us. So thanks for listening again. This has been Aaron T. Aaron on Power Principle number 5. See you again next week, 7:30 p.m. as we share another Power Principle. Till then, hold your image. God bless and speak soon. Take care, everybody.